Hi, good evening, everybody that's joined us on this meeting. We have a couple attendants coming in. We'll be giving it a few minutes to make sure everybody's able to join us on time, and then we'll get started shortly. Again, thank you for joining us this evening. We have about 6 participants on this meeting right now. We've had several more register for tonight's meeting, so we'll give it a few extra minutes to make sure we give everybody an opportunity to join us tonight. Again, thank you for joining us this evening. We had a few more people join us. We'll get started right at 6:40. So we'll give it 2 more minutes as we did have several more individuals register for tonight's meeting, and we are having our room fill up with a few more attendees. So if you guys just give us 2 more minutes, we'll get started promptly at 6:40. Thank you.
All right, I think we're going to get started. Good evening, everyone. I hope everyone had a good evening so far. And we'd like to welcome you to our community meeting. For the Granada Proshop renovations. Today we have several panelists that will be here for the presentation. Just going to introduce them really quickly so we know everyone that's on your screen. Carolina Vester is the Assistant Community Recreation Director. The Community Recreation Department Administrative Supervisor, Mitch Zuriarian, is there. Sarah Espino, the Community Recreation Department's Administrative Assistant, and she's our host for the meetings. We also have Brandon DeCaro, who is a Senior Project Manager for the Capital Improvements Office. And we have Zeta Sardinas, who is in charge of all the property management for the city. And then we also have Dina Bell Llewellyn, who is Landscape Services Director.
Good evening.
And we also have Nati Soda from FGSS. Those are that's the short moniker, but they are the architect of record for the project. So what we're going to do is we're going to present the presentation for the Granada Proshop renovations. And what that will consist of will be a slide presentation.
I think we may have lost Fred's connection. If you guys just give us a few seconds, we'll hope to reestablish connection with Fred Cusero to start the presentation.
My apologies. My apologies. I'm back on the presentation. So if we can have the first slide.
Fred, I think if
So
you
as
turn
I
off your
mentioned,
camera,
this
it would
meeting
be
will be
better.
recorded. How's that? Can everyone hear me okay?
Yes.
Great. So as I was saying, I apologize for the glitches in our technology, but we'll get it straight, I promise. This meeting will be recorded and it'll serve as a meeting minutes and will later be shared on the city's webpage. On our park projects webpage, you will have the opportunity to continue to make any public input that you would like. And we will have it online until December 8th, where we will then gather all the community input and all of the commentary, questions, and everything else. And we will have all that information to move forward with the future direction of the project. As I mentioned, participants may ask their questions via the question and answer chat. Following the presentation, the questions will be read out loud and they will be answered by the panel. In terms of the meeting information, we did distribute meeting notices via door hangers within 1,500 feet of the property. We did have a newspaper ad. We did use social media outlets, our Coral Gables television. We did a public notice, and we also had a city e-news announcement to publicize that we were having this meeting, and we will continue to do so through our website to get community input. If I can have the next slide, please. So just a quick refresher on the Proshop history. Granada Golf Course was a 9-hole course. It was constructed in 1922 by William Langford of the golf architectural firm Langford and Moreau. The Proshop building was added to the course in 1962 and later renovated in 1987. It's a 5,000 square foot property, and it consists of 3,500 square foot, 1-story golf course, Proshop building, and adjacent eat-in diner. I can have the next slide, please. So what you see on the screen is a satellite view of the entire property and the Proshop and how it sits in relation to being just south of the Coral Gables Country Club and being just east of Granada Boulevard, and serves as a Proshop for a 9-hole course, which is a Granada Golf Course, which is bisected by Granada Boulevard. If I can have the next slide. This is an existing site plan that shows the Proshop, the existing spaces, including the locker rooms, the restrooms, and the restaurant space. Some of the pictures of our existing interiors. This is the existing mechanical room and office for the staff. You also see an interior that shows the Proshop desk, all of the Proshop supplies, and also shows the glass wall that separates the Proshop from the existing restaurant space. If I can have the next slide. This is the existing exterior. It's the east view, and it shows the car pickup area. The car pickup area is just east of the Proshop, and just east of this cart area is the first tee. You can also see the existing storefronts that includes all glass doors throughout the perimeter of the eastern and southern exposures. If I can have the next slide, please. So we're now going to go into the proposed improvements and the renovation for the Proshop. Before we do, what I will remind you is the impetus for this improvement project, as we discussed, it's been quite some time since there was any renovations done to the Proshop as a whole. We did receive some feedback from users, golfers, area residents for the need to improve the interior of the Proshop and to also improve the facilities in the Proshop, which included the lockers, the restrooms, the office spaces. So that was how we set off on this project. It is not, it is what we call a renovation project. It is not an enhancement project where we can, where we're taking down the entire building and rebuilding a building. We're renovating from within the footprint and the scope that we have. I will go into the budgeting after we talk about the schematic, and we are functioning this improvement project within the confines of a budget that has been funded through the capital improvement plans, but does have a funding limit. So to discuss right now the proposed site plan and the schematic, I'd like to call on Nati Soto from FGSS, which is the architect and designer for this project, and she can run through the proposed site plan for the renovation.
Thank you, Fred. Good evening, everybody. I hope you're doing well. The first slide that's in front of you is the site plan for the facility. The renovations begin outside, where we are going to be upgrading the access from the handicap parking, from the accessible parking all the way into the building, so that it is compliant with the Americans with Disabilities Act. And once, so that includes the pathway, marking the pathway from the parking lot, markings on the ground to alert to the driveway conditions, and a slope walk that meets ADA to get to the front doors. And obviously the storefront and then the doors will be new doors as well. Next slide, please. So in the layout, as you walk in the front door, we are bringing the doors out to their original place, which is on the at the corner of the what's called now the multi-purpose room. So you'll be able to walk in, and in front of you will be a new control desk, and that control desk will also serve as displays for merchandising, etc. And we'll have also information for the golfers. To your immediate left will be the new women's restrooms and locker rooms that will be upgraded again to meet accessibility requirements. New finishes, new lockers. We're adding some locker counts. And also to your left is there is an existing activities office that will be also renovated, and a desk will be put in, a countertop with storage cabinets above for the various activity groups that use the facility. As you go into the pro shop, we're providing new finishes, new flooring, new ceilings, new lighting, energy efficient lighting. And continuing into the building, it will be the men's, again, renovated men's room, locker rooms, showers, toilet facilities, all accessible of ADA compliant. There will be a multi-purpose room, office and mechanical room created from the existing room that's like the mechanical / office / leftover lockers area. So this will be a multi-purpose room with movable furnishings, that tables and chairs that can be reconfigured as the needs of the space arise. And there'll be a formal office for the manager as well that will also contain the upgraded IT equipment and such, and new air conditioning for the pro shop, which is sorely needed. That unit there, maybe we can donate it to the Smithsonian. I don't know. It's pretty old. Next slide, please. So the finishes that we've selected, this is the furnishings plan. Whoever the vendor is at the pro shop will provide their merchandising furniture. The multi-purpose room those will be new furnishings by the city of Coral Gables, as will the lounge area that's in the right in front of the glazed area, so that's a nice place to visit, have a meeting and such for the patrons. And then the entrance to the snack shop as well, that the finishes of the floor and the ceiling in the snack shop are also included in the refurbishment project. Next slide, please. The exterior storefronts, the glass and the doors will all be replaced with new impact resistant and energy efficient glazing at both ends, both at the main entrance and also on the east elevation. Next slide, please. This is the view of the control desk. Again, place for merchandising, a monitor to display whatever's happening in the facility. That to alert it to the patrons, and also a pleasant look. The scheme is a transitional look, very similar to the palette that we used at the Adult Activity Center, but obviously with the materials needed for this facility, this type of facility. Next slide, please. As you can see, the interiors of the locker rooms and restrooms, so we will be brand new, tile on the walls, large format tiles in fresh new colors, new fixtures, energy efficient, water efficient fixtures. Next slide, please. Again, the color selections, a palette that will go with whoever is going to be visiting the space, low-key and pleasant modern look, with materials that will take that will withstand the use of this facility. Next slide, please. And this was our image visioning board of the type of spaces that and the furnishings and fixtures that we wanted to achieve. This is what basically we've prepared our design with, is this type of vision of what we want your new space to look like. Next slide, please. So with this, I'm going to turn it back to Fred to continue with the presentation. Thank you, Fred.
Yes. Thank you, Nati. Just a couple of more informational points as we summarize what the improvements are. You know, a couple of things to note. The activity office, you know, one of the problems that we had is it kind of grouped into the women's restroom, and you know, the way it's constructed, it'll be its own separate office, have its own separate entrance, so you won't have that issue there. The multi-purpose room is going to be
a good added feature for several purposes, for both our groups that play there. It can be a tournament headquarters. It could be an activity space for tournaments for our golfing groups, and also for our youth groups and camps and lessons. And we have an indoor space there, which we think will be a very valuable space for the golfing participants, whether it's adults or children. It's going to just add another element to our programming there. Also important to note, and I know you stepped in on a little bit, but we do have some other improvements that included the air conditioner, and we'll look at a lot of that. One last improvement that we had already started working on, aside from this project, is also some of the roof improvements, and we've already worked on that and fixed a lot of the leaks and a lot of those issues. So to kind of summarize and put together what we're doing for this renovation, there are a lot of improvements that are being planned. For the exterior, we're looking at improving the ADA access for the public. It's something that we have to do. It's something that's mandated federally. We're going to have an ADA parking location, which is also mandated. We're going to put together a nice layout that'll have a path to the entrance doors that will be compliant for ADA. And one of the big renovation items is replacing all the exterior storefront windows. It's not just on the two entrances; it's on all the glass surrounding the not only the pro shop but also into the restaurant space. And like I talked about with the air conditioner and some of the other improvements that I'll add for energy efficiency. And lastly, we are going to have a camera surveillance equipment. It'll be surveillance equipment that will kind of tie into the rest of the system. In the community recreation department, as we have improved spaces, we've added surveillance systems, which have helped. We have one at the Adult Activity Center. Our latest facility that we just improved, which was the Biltmore Tennis Center. We put together surveillance, and it provides a theft deterrent. It also provides supervision to make sure that things are operating correctly, and we're able to use that surveillance equipment both in the interior and exterior of the area. If I can get the next slide. So as Nati said, the interior enhancements that we are having, we're having a new Pro Shop sales desk cabinetry. What we wanted to do is make the Pro Shop similar to other golf Pro Shops, and have a little bit more of an indoor space that can serve as a lounge area for golfers that are waiting, golfers that are done with the day, that need a respite from the warm sun and the high temperature, especially on weekends after golf playing. And we are also looking at new ADA accessible guest desk with a computer access. A new small management office with secure IT equipment. Updated small volunteer activities office with the cabinetry. And what's important to note is that we've separated that out from the restroom entrance. And also, as we talked about, the new HVAC equipment and mechanical room. If I can have the next slide, please. So some of the updated features that will be part of the Pro Shop, we're looking at modern interior finishes, efficient LED lighting, modern and efficient plumbing fixtures, ADA accessible restroom facilities, new lockers and benches. And I know some golfers will have a funny question and a quizzical look at the next item, which is baby changing tables, but those are required. Those are mandated through compliance issues, so we will have them in the restrooms. And we will also renovate the janitor's closet, and we'll have a new drinking fountain with a bottle filler, which will be one of the new modern ones that we have there. As we also spoke about, there is alternate additions for also the flooring and the ceilings for the restaurant space as well. In terms of the construction staging plan, as we can get that slide, there's a fenced in area. You can see that will be on the west side. That will be what will be used for construction. We will have a temporary pro shop that will be at the edge of the parking area. So we'll be able to still have golf go on as we improve the entire space. So in terms of the budget, I spoke about it at the beginning of the presentation. The estimated project cost is $750,000. It is a tight budget. We're trying to get a lot of value for, especially in light of all the exterior improvements to all the different glass and the walls that we need to do to have those be impact. Changing out the air conditioning, changing a lot of the different systems and all of the interiors. We're confident that we have a good budget for that. We have looked at this design. We are in the process of showing it to the public. This is this meeting. What's on our website. We'll have this recording up there as well. And we will show this to the different advisory boards that will look at it and also offer input. So as we move forward, we'll take the input that we get throughout the input session. We'll look at what the consensus is for the project. If we're able to move with the project as planned, then the design and construction documents, we hope to have them completed by the spring of 2021, go through permitting and bidding in summer of 2021, and then construction at the end of 2021 into the beginning of 2022. Now, that is if we're able to move with the project as is. If based on community input and different needs, then obviously there will be some new designing time, and all that timetable will be pushed back. But for that, this is our presentation of what the improvements are going to be. We will now open up for questions, and we will be happy to answer any questions and read off any comments that we get. Thank you very much.
And before we start the Q&A session, just want to remind you that you have an opportunity to also send your comments via email to parksprojects@coralgables.com. We will be taking commentary through Tuesday, December 8th. So please and make sure that if there's anybody else that wasn't able to join the call this evening and that has input to this design, we will have this video as well as another video and the drawings and designs up on the Parks Project website to please provide the commentary to this email. So again, just as a reminder, if you do have a question, we will not be providing the speakers to be unmuted or visible to the panelists. So we will be reading off of the chat. If you have a question, please type it into the chat. We will read out the question in full and then direct it to the appropriate panelists to answer. So our first comment is actually from one of our CIP members. Construction from fall 2021 to winter 22 or spring 2022?
When I say winter, I meant the first 3 months of 2022. So that's what we're looking at.
And another question, will the new TV be a big screen and where will it be mounted in relation to the lounge area?
Did you want me to answer that, Fred?
The TV will be a big screen. Yeah.
Yes, yes, and it's located on the wall that's next to the door to the new administrative office. So yes, it'll be visible from the lounge area.
So yeah, so it will be on the wall that faces east, where across from the seating area.
All right. Next question, will Burger Bob's be part of this remodel as well? Will it gain or lose seats?
as constructed, we're keeping everything the same in terms of the size. As we talked about, we do have some, hopefully we'll be able to, within the budgetary numbers that we have, we'll be able to redo the flooring and also the ceilings. So those are the improvements that we're looking at for that space.
We don't have any additional questions. We'll provide an opportunity if anybody else would like to ask any other questions via the chat. Oh, we just got one in. Will any
Great.
outdoor seating be added? I saw something to the left of the Proshop.
We're not creating a new outdoor dining space. We have had the ability for them to have tables on that covered patio right now. We can continue to work with them on keeping that and making sure that that space is used to everyone's benefit. But currently, as designed, there is no new added terrace space.
And I gotta thank you for the answer.
You're welcome.
We have another question. Ventanilla type access to the restaurant from inside the clubhouse would be a great addition. Were any other improvements to the restaurant recommended?
Well, in terms of what we looked at for this project, the first focus was to improve the Proshop. We received a lot of feedback from our golfers and the public, especially those that lived in the area, to make sure that, we updated the Proshop. We hadn't done anything to it since 1987, so it was due for an update and a renovation. The restaurant space, as you know, or as you may not know, the restaurant space is, it's not run by the city as the golf course is. It is a private enterprise. It is through a lease. And, as we move forward, and we have Zeta here who can answer any questions regarding that, as we move forward in the lease, improvements that through negotiations or however that lease continues, we'll definitely look at that. But that will be a separate project. That doesn't necessarily mean it won't get done. It just won't get done within this timetable, unless there's an adjacent phase that is done with additional funding.
So we don't have any additional questions. We can give it a second just to make sure.
Yeah, let's give it a couple minutes, make sure that everyone knows how to use the chat function and type it in. We're here to provide any more information that you may need. And it's also important, if for whatever reason you're not able to give us your input here or you have extra questions, you can email us at the Parks Project website, and which was up. If Carolina, if you want to put it back up on the screen.
Yes. The email is parksprojects@coralgables.com, and that is our shared email address. And it goes to everybody basically on this panel. It goes to our CIP team as well as our Parks team to respond to.
So if you can maybe put the slide, that last slide up that has that information, so somebody can, if they need to, they can take a picture and they know exactly how to email us. If you don't want to do it on this venue, we will take continued input, and we will continue to take input through December 8th. And we will look at every comment, and we will look at where we move with the project based on the input.
I got another comment, and just as a thank you, look forward to the improvements.
Great.
And you're able to see the slide, correct?
Yes.
Okay, perfect.
Well, if we don't have any more input or any more questions, I would like to thank you all for coming and participating in this process. We in the city and on all of our city teams, we believe that input is necessary. We originate our projects based on the input, based on the community needs. And we always try to work with any public input and see how we can improve our projects and work together. So thank you very much for participating and listening
I
to us.
received
And
one more comment, Fred.
great. Right.
Outdoor seating would be a great addition, cost effective without much additional expense. But overall, looks great and long overdue. Looking forward to it. Great job. Next,
All right.
let's add some ambient lighting to Young Park. Haha.
Okay.
We can look at that.
Yeah, we actually can. You know, that we do a every year as we go through our funding, we start looking at projects to take on in the future, and that's one that we'll put in the pipeline to consider. So if we don't have any more, I'm going to say thank you again. Without your help, we're not able to put together projects that serve the community well. So thank you very much for everyone, including our panelists, for spending your evenings with us. And we'll keep in touch. And if you have anything else, please email us at that Parks Project email address. Thank you very much. Have a good night.
Thank you, Fred.
Thank you. Have a good night, everyone.
Thank you,
Good
everybody.
night, everybody.
Good night.
Good night.